check. I said a check. 1, 2. Just double checking since it's just me and you, June. Hey, hope you're doing well. Today is the 30th of June. Speaking of June, 2025. Today, we're gonna have a little fun today. I'm gonna do a review, a book review of the Koran. That's right. I'm gonna do it right here, right now. This is kind of a warm up for me, actually, because I'm gonna do a big Bible review because I've read it so that you don't have to, as they say. And the same goes for the Quran here. This is one version that I read. This is another version that I read. I'll tell you about them in a minute. But I just wanted to, let's see, this version. I need a little reading glasses here now these days. This version is translated by Maulana Wahiduddin Khan. And let's see. Good Word. Published by Good Word. And then this other one is by Penguin Classics. And translated with notes by N.J. Dawood. Okay, so just so you know, this is just a review based on my read of these books, right? I'm not a theologian. I'm not even a Muslim. I'm not wearing this hat because I'm a Muslim, a pirate, a hippie, or a biker. It's just because it keeps my head warm. I don't have a lot of hair, and this is just the perfect hat. So I thought, hey, the Muslims won't be offended. So anyway, here's my review. The Quran, this is going to be a simple and short review because the Quran, you may be surprised to learn, is a very simple book. It's just not that complicated. It's nothing like the Bible, except that it's a religious tome that just guides an entire religion of more than 1 billion people. That's really the only similarity. Actually, the Quran mentions the Bible all throughout. It references it over and over again. And it talks about the prophets that are in the Bible. And it includes Jesus in that group. But the Quran is really, to break it down structurally speaking, it is a collection of very short essays. These are aspirational or inspirational or affirmational essays that talk about the afterlife and good deeds. And the entire book is extremely repetitive. It's made up of 200 of these little essays. And it is quite repetitive in the sense, or to the extent that one can summarize its major points in just a few lines. And I'm going to do that for you now. All right. First of all, what it doesn't say. It doesn't say if you kill the infidels, you'll get 72 virgins. That's not, there's nowhere in here that I found anything like that. You know, there's a couple of slavey things, a couple of little weird perverted things, but you got to figure, look, these essays are written by diverse groups. They all weren't written by the same guy or the same even group of people, and they were collected together. That's another, I guess that's one thing it has in common with the Bible. But, so, you know, you can't take any one of them as the Word of God. I know there's a lot of people who are like, oh, the Word of God. No, it's the word of Penguin Press and Good Words over here, really. I mean, look, it could be entirely God-inspired. The entire thing could be the direct word of God as translated through the humans, right? And, of course, that's what every religion says about their Bible. But for this one, let's just get into the text of it. Let's just get into what it actually says. Because it's actually quite a good little book. And I'll tell you, from my perspective, what it says is just quite simply this. It says, God is real. God exists. That's like the main point of the book. And it says, you better believe it. It emphasizes that. It says, you better believe it. You've been warned. It says, you've been warned over and over again. You better believe it. God is real. Okay. And, you know, Ricky Gervais has a great line. He's a good comedian. He has a great discussion. He talks about, well, he, as an atheist, he only believes in one fewer God than all religious people. That's what he says. That's not exactly true, though, Ricky, because a lot of us believe in multiple gods. In fact, the Koran itself phrases the gods as plural. Gods is plural, at least in these translations and according to what I read about them. So, you know, there are, in theory, look, all religions have a God. That's one thing that they all have, right? So anyway, that's the number one precept of the Quran is there is a God. You better believe it. You've been warned. And then it goes on and it says, look, the people who believe it and do good deeds, you have to do good deeds, will get like a creek, a stream. You get like a running stream. You get a garden and a running stream, basically. That's your reward. That's over and over again throughout the Quran. That is your reward for doing good deeds. You help the poor, and you're going to get a garden with some running water. So, it says, and the people who don't follow God will go to hell. You're going to hell. That's just it. It doesn't go into much about what it is that the hell is, but that's where you're going. So, so do the good deeds, it says. All right, let's take it a little bit further. Whoops, shit. Take it a little bit further here and get into it just a tiny bit more. But that's almost all of the entire book, really. So if you came away with nothing but there is a God, you better believe it, do good deeds, and you'll get a garden. That's the Quran. Okay, I'm going to elaborate just a tiny bit more. Let's see. No idols, this is so interesting because really, isn't it true the Muslims have the one idol? I mean, they've got the idol. They're the ones who do the worship of the idol. They do it. They completely blew this precept. Even though it says no idols, what they did was they turned that around into idolize this guy. And in fact, if anybody even draws him, you kill him. That's how much of an idol he is for them. It's remarkable how wrong the practice of idolatry is in the Muslim religion. It's fascinatingly backwards. So anyway, it says, Christ was just a prophet. God has no kids. God doesn't need you. He has everything he needs. He's all powerful. Doesn't need you. You're good. He wants you to enjoy your life. That's what he wants. Enjoy the fruits of life. Make more little babies, prosper, that kind of thing, and share in abundance. Let's see. It goes on. It says Moses, Noah, Job. These guys were all prophets, according to this book. It says they. I'm talking about the gods now, have wiped out the non-believers. And those who do believe will be saved. This is repetitive. It just goes on like this. We sent signs like this book, the sun, the moon, follow the signs. That's basically, I mean, those who wait until judgment day will be too late. There's a little bit of, men are better and more forgivable than women. A couple of weird things, like I said, but when you read it in its entirety, you can fight in self-defense, little precepts here and there, but generally it's just God exists, wants you to be happy, thrive in cooperation, reproduce, enjoy the fruits of life, and then join with the oneness of all in the end. So that's it. That's the whole thing in a nutshell right there. It reads much like our historical understanding of it you would expect it to read. That is, it reads like something that was written as a reaction to Christianity. Instead of this vast dogma, it's look, just keep it simple, okay? Just keep it simple, and then they tried to do away with the idol, and it just backfired spectacularly. But that's it. That's the entirety of the religion. It's or at least according to the Koran, and it's nice. It's sweet. It's easy going. There shouldn't be any problem. There shouldn't be any type of. It doesn't say anything there about. I mean, look, it was made during a war. I was going to say it doesn't say anything there about killing, war and stuff, but there are war elements in it. It was clearly written in part on the battlefield. I mean, that's how it reads. So it is what it is. I don't think it's when you just read the Quran, you would not imagine the types of manifestation of the Muslim religion that we find in much of the world. Not all of it, of course. In fact, more of it is civilized than uncivilized. Much more of it. But, boy, there's a big contingent. And perhaps it's just socioeconomic, poor. I mean, a lot of those countries are practically made up, and their resource structure is flimsy and leveraged and tenuous at best. And perhaps that's what's driving these conflicts that we see and the unrest that we see more than the religion itself. I am going to tend to think that, because when you just read that book, you don't come away thinking, oh, let's go kill a bunch of people. That's just not, that's not it. It's a book about peace and love and harmony and happiness and the future and prosperity and sharing all that stuff. So that's what it is. That's my review. Hope you enjoyed it.